Today we're going to talk about hiker stink. How do you avoid smelling like Bigfoot when you're out on the trail? Hey there, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about hiker stink. I'm going to give you a few tips from my own experience hiking the AT in 2018 and also some things that you can do to take care of your gear when you get home, or if you're out for a really long time, things that you can do when you're in a hostel or in town. I'm excited to have Odor as a sponsor for this video today, and I'll tell you more about them at the end and also a special offer that they've made for you, my viewers. Now, if you watched my prep videos as I was getting ready to do a thru hike last year, you probably saw that I had a lot of different toiletries, and one of the items that I grabbed was this Dry Idea deodorant, and I didn't take it in the full pack because this weighs, a good few ounces, but it is unscented, it's a gel, and I put it into little tiny containers like this, just little tiny containers, and carried that and so that I could put it on mainly when I was in town. When I took a shower in a hostel, I wanted to at least be clean and smell clean for a little while, so I carried this. It weighed about, I don't know, maybe half an ounce, 10 grams, something like that, and would use this after my shower, and it's 72-hour deodorant, and it really does work. So I was very happy to have this to take care of that hiker stink. And I also discovered along the way that when I ran out of anti-chafe, this also did the trick. So it worked great in a pinch. But as I ran out of it, eventually I just stopped carrying it. I got used to the hiker smell, being with other hikers who smelled, and I just said, yeah, I'm trying to lighten my load a little bit, so I don't really need it. But if you don't mind carrying that little extra bit of weight, it's a great solution for deodorant rather than carrying a big stick or using something that doesn't last for very long. Now, I also carried Dr. Bronner's soap, which is good for all kinds of things. You can use it to do your dishes, you can use it to do your laundry, you can bathe in it, you can wash your hair in it. So it's a wonderful thing to have. And I just put it into little tubes like this instead of carrying the big bottle. And a tiny little bit of this goes a very long way. So again, it was a great thing to have in my pack. And I carried it pretty much the whole trail because I like to be able to get things clean when I needed to. And sometimes that meant that I had something sticky in my dishes that I needed to wash, or just laundry, socks, that sort of thing. So I was really happy to have this. I could do laundry on the trail if I found a nice stream, or if I got to a hostel and they didn't have laundry detergent. Sometimes they run out. It's usually provided for you when you do your laundry, but sometimes you come up empty, or it's just a product that doesn't look very appealing. So this was a really nice thing to have along the way. Now, when I was on the trail and I wanted to stay clean, a lot of people will carry wet wipes. Wet wipes are heavy. They're wet, and anything with water in it is heavy. So I found these little dry wipes on Amazon. I got a pack of 50 of them, and they open up, kind of like a Kleenex. You could even use half of one if you wanted. They're pretty good size. But just taking a little bit of water on one of these, they don't suds up, but they make a great little washcloth and get all the dirt off if you need to kind of scrub and get mud out from places where mud shouldn't be. They're very helpful to have and very lightweight. So I had about 5 of these in each of my resupply boxes, and I would carry them, didn't even notice the weight. And when I needed to clean up, they were very helpful because nobody wants to go to bed in their tent with mud all over them. And as much rain as we had, there were lots of nights where I had mud all over me and needed to just get a little bit more fresh and clean. Even though I wasn't shower fresh, I was mud free, which was really nice. Now, I mentioned doing laundry on the trail, and typically when you get into a town, you can stop in a hostel and they will do laundry for you. Some of them had self-serve where you just throw your clothes in, and it's sort of luck of the draw. You don't know what kind of machines they are. You don't know if they're going to rip your clothes up. Unfortunately, sometimes that happens. But for the most part, I had very good luck with laundry on the trail. The hostel owners typically will, if it's do-it-yourself, they'll provide detergent, or somebody will have been there and bought a small box or bottle of detergent. In some places, you do buy the detergent when you pay for your wash, so you might pay $5 for a load and then an extra buck for just sometimes even just a little baggie of detergent that you can use to get your clothes clean. That doesn't always get the odors out, but it's better than the mud and stink and sweat that you would have from actually being on the trail for days on end. So it doesn't matter, even if it's inexpensive laundry detergent. It's going to get some of the stink out, and you're going to feel a little bit fresher and better when you start out on the trail again. Now, you can also go in and do laundry with your friends. So typically, I mean, the clothes that I had in my pack might take up maybe a quarter of a load. So very often I would go in with people who were at the hostel with me, and we'd say 2 or 3 people, we could throw our clothes in together, wash and dry everything, and then get it all sorted out. And that was also helpful because there's so many hikers coming into hostel at one time if you're hiking with the bubble, and it gets the laundry done a lot faster, because there's nothing worse than waiting for 2 or 3 hours to get your laundry done when all you want to do is get clean clothes and go to town and have a meal. Some places, like I remember Uncle Johnny's in particular, there was a sign-up sheet on top of the machine where you had to put your name down and say, okay, I'm next. And we also, just a hint, want to stay on top of that. So if your clothes are in the machine and you need to move them to the dryer, you don't want to take off and just leave your stuff, because somebody is probably going to come along and take your stuff out. And if you're not careful, it could end up getting dirty again before it even makes it into the dryer. So just stay on top of your clothes. Don't walk off and leave them. That's just a hiker courtesy tip. So what do you do with this little monster when you get home from a hike? If you're like me, you have a gear explosion. So everything comes out of the bag, and to make sure your gear lasts a long time, most of you, I'm sure, already know this because we spend a lot of money on our gear. You want to make sure that you dry out anything that is wet or even remotely damp, and that you store things properly, like my quilt here. One of my absolute favorite pieces of gear, and I always store it loose in a giant laundry bag versus in a stuff sack, just to keep the down nice and fluffy. But all the other stuff, anything washable, is probably going to have some odor on it and need to be de-stinked, especially the clothes. Now this is just stuff I had out for a weekend at the ATKO, so it's not as nasty as my AT hiker clothes were, but still I find even just 1 or 2 nights in the woods I end up with a lot of hiker smell that I want to kind of eradicate before I put things away. And unfortunately some fabrics don't give up that smell as easily as others. This pink shirt in particular, which you've probably seen me talk about before, is one of my favorite pieces of hiking wardrobe, and it is an inexpensive shirt. It's from Danskin. It is athletic wear and quick dry, but it's polyester and spandex, and unlike some more higher end fabrics and natural fabrics, the synthetics tend to hold smell a little bit more than other fabrics. So I found that getting this one clean in particular, or not just clean, I mean I can throw it in the wash and it'll come out looking clean, but it doesn't always smell fresh. So that's been a challenge for me. Socks are another challenge, and I started out the trail with extra socks thinking I'd wash out a pair. Same thing for underwear, extra underwear, thinking every night I could wash them out, dry them, and rotate to always have something clean. But unfortunately with the trail as wet as it was in 2018, that just wasn't feasible, and I eventually ended up sending home the extras, which meant that I was wearing the same pair just about every day between stops in trail towns, and man, did the smell, oh boy, it was awful. No wonder they call us hiker trash. Items like these neoprene knee braces can get extra stinky on a sweaty day. They're essential on the trail, but man, do they get nasty, and it's nice to be able to get them clean and fresh. Keeping your pack clean, or getting your pack clean, is another problem, because you're constantly setting it down on the ground. You are sweating on the straps, and that just accumulates and gets stinkier and stinkier. And I did take the time to wash my pack a couple times on trail. One time I used a commercial gear cleaner, and another time I just went old school, and it took quite a while, but I did a wash with detergent and baking soda, which helps boost the laundry, the properties of the laundry detergent. And I rinsed it with vinegar and water, and that I let it soak for quite a while, and it did get a lot of the stink out. I think it actually worked better than the commercial cleaner, so that's a nice trick, particularly if you're on a budget, because vinegar and baking soda are both pretty inexpensive. But it does take time and space to do that, so it's a little bit difficult to take care of on the trail. Of course, you don't need to wash your backpack every week when you're on the trail, but I would recommend maybe trying to make the time once or twice during your thru hike, just because all that dirt will help erode the fabric a little bit, so you probably get more life out of your pack if you do clean it periodically. And the same thing for your stuff sacks, and even your Dyneema would probably benefit a little bit from a gentle washing occasionally. Now, I didn't know anybody on the trail that carried extra laundry additives with them, but if I'm on a shorter hike and just going to be out for a few days or a weekend, when I get home, I am going to throw something in there with my laundry to try to, boost the detergent and make sure things smell better. Typically, I use borax, My husband likes OxyClean, so we have both in our household, but they don't always really do a good job to get the odors out. And that is where the new product that I've just heard about, Odor Cleanse, comes in. Now, Odor Cleanse, they sent me this big bottle of liquid to test out, and I'm gonna try it and tell you what I think, but it comes in liquid and powder form. And I think if you wanted to carry some on the trail, you could probably just put powder into small packets and take it with you. Liquid, obviously not practical for that, but great for doing wash when you get home. Some things that are cool about it, and when I was reading the back, I was surprised to see that it only had 5 ingredients. Where can you find a detergent or a booster that has 5 ingredients? I think that's awesome. Those 5 ingredients are non-toxic and safe to use around your animals, which is obviously helpful. You don't want anything in your household that could potentially make your pet sick. It is also made from safe earth minerals, and there are no masking agents in it, so it's not going to just cover up the odors like some of the things that you can buy that make things smell fresh, like lavender and lilies and things like that. We don't want to smell like that in the woods anyway, because we don't want to attract any bears or other critters. So I prefer things that just take the odor away and just leave things smelling, naturally. Just smell like fabric. That's cool for me. I don't need to smell like lilies and roses unless I'm maybe going on a date. So anyway, I think those things are cool, and I'm going to try this out in just a minute, and I'm going to let you know with the sniff test how it works. So I'm going to load up my machine with the Stinky clothes from my hike, and also my sleep sheet. I find that anything that's near a campfire ends up smelling a little bit like campfire, so this is new. I think I've only washed it once before. It is silk and cotton, and you certainly don't want to use tough laundry detergents and even odor cleanse on things that would be dry clean only, but this is machine washable, so I'm going to have faith that I'll put it through the machine and it will come out just fine. We'll find out. And then I also have a little extra blanket that I've been carrying with me on cold nights. I will not put my down quilt in here because that requires special treatment, but this is just a throw blanket that's soft and comfortable, and it's going in here as well. So I have a small load here. I'm just going to use a 1/4 cup of detergent and then a 1/4 cup of the odor cleanse. Now my machine is a little bit different than some others. I was looking at the instructions on the odor cleanse, and it recommends filling the machine or partially with water and then putting in the detergent and the clothing later. This machine, it's a newer machine. Bless my husband, he had to replace the washer and dryer while I was out on the trail, and he did a good job of picking out a nice new machine. So anyway, I'm still learning it, but it does require the clothing in there because it senses how big the load is before it actually will start to fill with water. So I'm gonna do that and get it going, and then I'll put in the odor cleanse. Okay, I've got some water in now, so I'm going to go ahead and toss the odor cleanse in there and then start the cycle again and let it roll. Well, the laundry is done now, and I can say after giving everything the sniff test, I'm pretty well pleased. As I mentioned before, there's no fruity, florally fragrance associated with the odor cleanse, and socks don't stink. They don't smell like socks. The knee braces just smell a little bit like neoprene, which is what they're made out of, so that's cool. The Stinky hiking shirt, the one that my husband always complains about smells like the woods, just smells like a clean shirt, so that's great. And everything else the same way, so I'm pretty happy with that, and didn't have any problems at all with the silk and cotton liner, came out great. Blanket, no campfire smell left at all on that, so overall, I would say thumbs up. Odor Cleanse was kind enough to give me a special discount for all of my viewers, so I will put the link down in the description below, and if you use the code HIKER15, you can take 15% off your order. So I hope you like it. Feel free to comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are, and stay not so stinky. See you next time.